Hello, my friends, and thank you so much for coming to spend part of your Wednesday, April 24th with me, 2024. We are coming to you tonight with some good news out of the Oklahoma Panhandle. For those who have been following this case with me and Rock Chalk, I have Rock Chalk here with me tonight. I'm going to bring her on in a moment. But there has been a fifth arrest in the deaths of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelley, the two moms that were traveling from Kansas, from Hugoton, Kansas, to Eva, Oklahoma, to pick up Veronica's two children all the way back on March 30th of this year. And they never made it. And when I first started covering this case, it was a few days after they went missing. And I uncovered a whole bunch of court documents. And we went over the court documents together. And I discovered that Veronica Butler had been in a years-long brutal custody battle with the father of her children, Wrangler Rickman. And we looked at a lot of the court file together. And we discovered that Veronica was only permitted to have court-ordered visitation on Saturdays. And she would travel from Hugoton, Kansas to Oklahoma. And the meeting spot for her to pick up the children, her two children, was at a place called Four Corners, which was basically an intersection, an abandoned intersection with an abandoned gas station in a very rural part of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And we also discovered that Wrangler Rickman had just been released from jail on March 22nd or 23rd, I believe. And he was ordered to report to rehab in Oklahoma City at the Salvation Army for a 6-month stay. And during the first 30 days, he was not allowed to have contact with anyone. And we were unsure at the time whether Wrangler was actually in rehab or not. And it has been since confirmed that he has been in rehab, and he was in rehab on the date that Veronica and Jilian went missing. We also knew that the visitation had to be supervised and that the court had ordered, there was a visitation order, and there was one court-ordered supervisor who was named in there, and her name was Cheryl. And if Cheryl was not available, there was a choice of 3 other court-approved monitors for this visitation, and one of them was Jilian Kelley. And Jilian Kelley was a pastor's wife, mom of 4, and Veronica, like I said, 27 years old, mom of 2. And Rock Chalk, after hearing my stream on this show about the missing women, got in her truck in Wichita, put 2 horses in a trailer, 2 working dogs, 2 guns, and she went down to search for Veronica and Jilian. And she was there live streaming for many, many days. And she came on the show a couple of times, and the stuff that she told us from the ground was incredible. She took us to Four Corners. We saw it for ourselves. She took us to the hog farm. She took us all around the town. She talked to many, many locals. Many people were coming to her for information because many people in that area, Cimarron County and Texas County and the Panhandle of Oklahoma, have a fear, let's say, of law enforcement and a fear of the people that wound up being arrested in these murders. And finally, on April 13th, arrests were made of the original 4 people in these murders, one of whom was Wrangler's mother, the grandmother of these children. Her name is Tifany Adams, 54 years old. Just pull up the original mugshots for you as we review this for a second. Tifany Adams, her boyfriend Tad Cullum, and a couple named Cora and Cole Twombly, who lived on Tad Cullum's property. Today, a 5th man has been arrested. His name is Paul Grice. He's 31 years old, and he was originally named in the probable cause affidavits when the other 4 were arrested on April 13th, and we looked at them together. We looked at least Tifany's arrest, her information and the probable cause affidavit. And this guy, Paul Grice's name was all over it as a 5th person involved. And the case was broken wide open by Cora Twombly's 16-year-old daughter, who was questioned by police and gave all the information with regard to these tragic killings. Rock, are you back there? Okay. So after the abandoned car was found on March 30th, because Veronica's family didn't hear from her, they went looking for her. Her abandoned car was found about 3 miles from the pickup point. And near the car was found signs of a struggle, blood on the ground and in the car. Veronica's broken glasses were on the road nearby. There was also, or her glasses actually, there was a broken hammer and a pistol magazine, but no gun. Also, no phones for the women. On April 14th, 2 bodies were found in a rural area in Texas County, and they were not confirmed to be the bodies of the 2 missing women by the state medical examiner until April 16th. So we're going to take a look today at the arrest documents of Paul Grice. Here's his picture. "31 years old. He's arrested today. Brian Enton the other day, a couple days ago, did an interview with someone who knows Paul Grice, said he's a great guy. We're going to take a look at that as well. So this is the 5th arrest made today in the deaths of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelley. He is currently sitting in jail in Oklahoma County. Let me bring on Rock Chalk so she can go over these documents with us. She's got a lot of information on this case. Hi, Rock Chalk.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I could not figure out how to get my icon on there, so.
Oh, well, that's good. So now we can just see your icon like that. It's perfect. It's better than listening just to your voice, although you have an amazing voice.
Oh, I don't know. I hate listening to myself. But anyway, I love you to death. Let's go. What can we do? All
right, let's go. All right. So what do you know about this guy before we get into the documents? What do you know about this guy, Paul Grice?
Paul Grice, he seems to be a good guy, according to what they said. Hard worker, family man, just part of the God's misfits.
How did he get dragged into this mess?
God's misfits.
Yeah, that's.
I want to say something. You know, one thing that I noticed, everybody says people were scared of talking, which was true.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I noticed, Melanie, is a lot of them did business with Tifany and Tad. And I personally, like, I'm not trying to dog them. I personally believe that's another reason why they didn't want to talk.
What kind of business were they in?
Well, leasing land or leasing land to Tad. Tifany dabbled in, she had marijuana distribution, you know, dispensaries, I guess I would say. I mean, it seems like they dabbled in everything.
So you think that's why they didn't want to ruin their business contacts with them? That's interesting.
Well, and the reason I say that is because I had many people that would call me farmers and say, hey, Rock, can you put that on private? Because my voice was in the background. And I had 2 particular farmers that was like, yeah, well, so-and-so is so scared because he does more business with Tad than I do. And so I caught on to it. Like, I caught on to it immediately that they were worried about the business dealings, even though it's probably normal.
Right.
But they were worried they were going to get dragged into it just over business dealings. It's the way I interpreted it. So
that's interesting. All right, let's pull up these arrest documents and see what we can glean from them. Much of it is similar to the one that we went over for Tifany, Tad, Cora, and Cole's were basically all the same, but this has additional information because he was not even arrested until, I believe, yesterday. So they have the information on the search and what led to him being arrested. So this is the information. This is the state of Oklahoma against Paul Jeremiah Grice. And this was filed yesterday, April 23rd, 2024 in Texas County, Oklahoma. I note here that he has an address of Keys, Oklahoma. That is also where Tifany lived, correct?
Correct.
And I wonder if he lived on her property.
I don't think he lived on her property. I believe that he inherited a lot of land.
Okay, interesting. Because the population of Keys, Oklahoma is something like 267. That's how small
But
Keys
it's
is,
a
right?
lot of land. It
Yeah,
might be a population of 267, but there is a lot of land.
interesting. Okay. All right, so he is charged today with 2 counts of murder in the first degree, 2 counts of felony kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree with deliberate intent. Here's what it says. State of Oklahoma, County of Texas. I, George Leach III, the undersigned district attorney of said county, in the name and by the authority of the state of Oklahoma, give information that in said county of Texas and in the state of Oklahoma, Paul Jeremiah Grice did then and there unlawfully, willfully, knowingly, and wrongfully commit the crime of count 1, murder in the first degree, deliberate intent, a felony, by aiding and abetting in the commission of the deliberate and intentional taking away of the life of a human being on or about the 30th day of March, 2024, and then and there willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously, without authority of law, aid and abet in the death of Veronica Butler, who was lured to the location of Highway 95 and Road L in Texas County, Oklahoma, and certain mortal wounds were inflicted, and Veronica Butler did in fact die as a result of the wounds inflicted. This crime is punishable by death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment with life for life without parole. So Oklahoma is a death penalty state for people who were wondering. Second count is also murder in the first degree for the murder of Jilian Kelley. Count 3 is kidnapping, a felony. Same facts, on or about the 30th day of March, 2024, by aiding and abetting the forcible seizing of Veronica Butler at Highway 95 and Road L, County of Texas, Oklahoma, and confining Veronica Butler without lawful authority and with the intent to cause Veronica Butler to be confined and imprisoned against her will. This crime is punishable by an imprisonment of not more than 20 years. Fourth count is felony kidnapping on behalf of Jilian Kelley. And this crime is punishable by imprisonment of not more than 20 years. Count 5, conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree, deliberate intent, a felony, by conspiring and agreeing with Tifany Adams, Cora Twombly, Cole Twombly, and Tad Cullum to commit the crime of murder in the first degree, a felony, on or about or between the 13th day of February 2024 and the 30th day of March 2024 by arranging and planning the deliberate, intentional, and unlawful taking away of the life of Veronica Butler and or Jilian Kelley and the defendant and or co-conspirators did purchase burner phones, stun guns, and travel to the area of Highway 95 and Road L, County of Texas, Oklahoma, in furtherance of the conspiracy. This crime is punishable by imprisonment for not more than 10 years or a fine of not more than $5,000 or both by such fine and imprisonment. Rock, just explain to the viewers who may not know what that area looked like where the car was found. And the car was found on Road L, correct?
Correct. And it's right off the highway there. I mean, you can see it's on a curve, okay? And literally you could see the car from the road. So when they say rural area, most of it is rural. But I went by there several times and I'd see people out looking. And in my peripheral, I could literally see the car. So somebody that traveled that way every day, and there were several witnesses I hear that did say they saw it. It wasn't like it was down the road a mile. It was literally off the road. I would
Right.
say maybe 200 feet, if
And
that.
there was nothing obstructing the view.
No, a
I
little
mean,
bit of grass, but no,
so yeah, it wasn't parked behind something. It was just sort of, and how far off the road of Road L was it pulled?
just barely around the corner.
So, but I mean, it was just on the side of the road. It wasn't like in the plains or whatever. I mean, I would call it plains, the area where that was, but it
Well,
was like actually on the side of the road. Yeah.
well, there's been, I do have to say this to be honest, there's been some discrepancy. One of the guys that was counting his cattle, he told me that he saw the car and it was in the grass. And then the mom came along and told me, no, it was in the street where the little puddles of blood, they act like there was great big puddles of blood. I can
Right.
go back to my video. I can show you there was not that big of puddles of blood. Okay.
Right.
But this rancher kid, he's 24. He swore that it was in the grass and he wasn't weighing from it. So then I'm left to wonder how to get from the grass to the street. But either way, like that's why News Nation kept changing their story because we didn't know whether it was grass or the
Right.
street.
That's why I'm
So
asking
there's
you
a
because I heard.
discrepancy there. So sorry about that, but I want to make sure that's
Mhm.
clear. Like we're not sure.
That's why I'm asking you because I've heard conflicting stories, and I know that you were there and you took us to the location and you showed us where the pools of blood on the roadway had been covered with what looked like cat litter, right?
Right. But when you say pools of blood, like so you saw them, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like somebody bled to death there. There was
No, just like how would I describe that? Just like a little
I want to say maybe a 12 by 4 inch, two puddles of blood.
puddles. Yeah, puddles,
Yeah,
right.
puddles.
Yeah,
So
little puddles.
when I hear News Nation say that, it's just like, what was they? I was there way before them, and what was they seeing that I didn't see?
Right.
So,
I
but
feel
as
like
far as where the
sometimes
car was, like, I'm telling you, even the day I left, I went back and looked at stuff, and I was under a bridge, and that same 24-year-old cattle guy turned around to talk to me and gave me a hug. And I asked one more time, I said, listen, have they talked to you? They hadn't talked to him again. I said, are you sure that car was in the grass? Because I can't get over how it got from the grass to the street. He goes, yes, ma'am. It was in the grass. So I guess we'll find out at trial.
wow. Yeah. Who knows how long
It's
that's going to take?
confusing. Yeah, it's confusing though. Go on. I'm
It
sorry.
is confusing. No, please interrupt me anytime you want. Okay, so this is the affidavit of probable cause for the arrest warrant. As you know, anytime someone is arrested, the arresting officer or whoever has been investigating the case, the lead investigator usually will sign an affidavit for the court to sign in order to show that there is probable cause for the arrest. And in this case, this is on behalf of Paul Jeremiah Grice, date of birth, July 1992. Looks like he's 5'8" and 188 pounds from Keys, Oklahoma. This was again filed yesterday. And this is the affidavit of probable cause for the arrest warrant. And this is the same special agent, Jason Ott, who signed the 4 affidavits for the other 4 monsters that were arrested. And says, I am Special Agent Jason Ott of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. So the OSBI was brought into this case the same day that Veronica and Jilian went missing on March 30th of 2024. That's my information. And I think that's great that Texas County Sheriff brought them in right away on this case because I think they knew right away that it was going to be crazy.
So we think that they were brought in on that day. Really?
Yes, that's what my information says.
Man, I wish we knew for sure. Like I really
Yeah,
do. I've got
that's
questions about it, but anyway.
yeah, because the FBI wasn't brought in until a little bit later. So that everything that I have found says that because it says right here in his affidavit on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, the Texas County Sheriff's Office requested OSBI investigative services with the suspicious disappearance of Veronica Butler, 27, and Jilian Kelley, 39, from rural Texas County after their vehicle was found abandoned near Highway 95 and Road L south of Elkhart, Kansas. Butler and Kelley were traveling to Oklahoma from Hugoton, Kansas.
And you
So,
would think an affidavit would be correct.
oh, it
'Cause
has to be. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go with what you're saying because it would have to be correct. So
Yeah, and this special agent is with OSBI, and he's the one who's giving probable cause, and he's been with law enforcement for 27 years. He's been an investigator for over 20 years. So yeah, I'm going to go that, these are official court documents, so I'm going to say that these are what's accurate.
I agree.
Yeah, he goes on to say interviews were conducted related to the disappearance, and it was discovered that Butler was in a problematic custody battle with Tifany Adams for the custody of Butler's 2 children. The father of those children was Wrangler Rickman, Adams' son. Butler's visitation with her children was court-ordered to be supervised every Saturday. Adams had a particular person she preferred to supervise those visitations, and that was Cheryl. The court ordered Adams to pay Cheryl to supervise visits if that was who she wanted to be present. Otherwise, Butler was to pay for the person to supervise. Adams said Cheryl was unavailable to supervise the visitation on March 30th, so Butler was required to arrange the supervision with one of her 3 approved individuals. Butler contacted Kelley of Hugoton, Kansas, and planned to have her supervise the visit. Rock, you know what this is just making me think is that they totally planned this. They did not want to off Cheryl because Tifany lied to Veronica and said Cheryl's not available. But when they interview Cheryl, Cheryl says, I absolutely was available. Tifany told me to take a couple weeks off.
Right. And Tifany likes Cheryl.
Yeah.
But she didn't like Veronica. I mean, according to the 16-year-old statement, when she asked her mom why Jillian had to be, taken care of too, and she said, oh, because she was on Veronica's side.
Right. But there were 2 other women that were on the list as possible supervisors. So, was it just happenstance that Jillian happened to go with her that day? Or do you think that Tifany and her cohorts really had it out for Jillian and they wanted it to be Jillian? I don't know.
I don't know either, but I do know, according to the paperwork, that morning, Tifany said she was at home and she tried to say that Veronica canceled visitation when
Right.
Veronica was actually at Jillian's picking Jillian up.
Yep. But there was that phone call. And so she was trying to steer law enforcement away from and she knew that phone call would be on her phone. So let's go on.
She did.
Yeah. Butler told family members she was going to pick up her children from Adams at 10 o'clock a.m. at Four Corners, which is the intersection of Highway 95 and US 64 West, a location in Texas County, Oklahoma. Butler and Kelley left Hugoton, Kansas, and traveled to Highway 95 and Road L about 5 miles north of Four Corners. Butler and Kelley arrived at that location at approximately 9:40 a.m. Butler planned to bring her daughter to a birthday party, but after they did not arrive, the family began looking for Butler. Melissa and Joey, who are Butler's family members, located Butler's abandoned vehicle just west of the intersection of Highway 95 and Road L. Melissa and Joey then contacted law enforcement at 12:09 hours, so a little after noon. An examination of the vehicle and area surrounding their vehicle found evidence of a severe injury. Blood was found on the roadway, an edge of the roadway. Butler's glasses were also found in the roadway south of the vehicle near a broken hammer. A pistol magazine was found inside Kelley's purse, but no pistol was found. And I think we found also, Rock, you told me that when you spoke to family members of Jillian, they said she never left home without her pistol.
Right. She always carried it. Yep.
And Oklahoma is an open carry state. We went through that as well.
So is Kansas.
Yeah. So is Kansas. Okay, good. Good to know. Adams told OSBI that on Friday night, March 29th of 2024, Rickman and Butler's children stayed the night with Barrett and Lacey. I'm redacting people's last names who are not suspects and only witnesses because I don't want people, going after them. So the children slept over Barrett and Lacey's house. Adams said that she planned to pick them up that morning before visitation. Adams said she called Butler at 9 a.m. to confirm the meeting, and Butler told Adams something came up and she was not going to make it. Butler's phone records confirmed the call occurred. However, at the time of the call, Butler was in Hugoton, Kansas, in the process of picking Kelley up to go to meet Adams. Adams stated she was home at the time that Butler and Kelley went missing. Adams picked the children up before 12 o'clock from Barrett and Lacey's residence. So I wonder, Rock, is it confirmed that she didn't leave her house and she went to pick the children up so that she would have an alibi while this whole thing was going on?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, because it seems like they were intercepted or ambushed at around 9:45 a.m. and Tifany's home, and then she goes to pick up the kids before noon.
Right.
Not wanting to get her hands dirty.
And the car was left there between 9 and 10 a.m.
Yeah. And because they were supposed to meet at 10, right? And their phones go dead at 9:42.
Right.
OSBI interviewed Cheryl, and she said she was available to supervise the visit that day, but Adams told her to take a couple of weeks off from the visitation so that Adams could question the children and relate it to how Butler's approved visitation supervisors were. Butler and Kelley's phone records indicated their devices were actively sending signals to their carriers until approximately 9:42 a.m., after which the devices were no longer seen by the networks and stopped transmitting. Neither phone was found at the scene or within the vehicle, and they are currently missing. Adams was the last known person to communicate with Butler and was scheduled to meet Butler and Kelley for visitation at 10 a.m. on March 30th of 2024. And Rock, this was just dated yesterday, and he was arrested today, and it says the phones are still missing. Do you have any information indicating that the phones were found, or they're still missing as far as you know?
Well, there was paperwork that said that there was that stun guns were found, and I believe a couple of the phones were found there. I sent you. I didn't know how to get a hold of. Somebody sent me a paperwork that's really blurry, and I sent that to you. Did you happen to see that at all?
I think you texted it to me, but I thought those were the burner phones.
Well, it talks about who had the
Let's see.
phones, but it's really hard to read. But it talks about how Grice had a phone, how
I think
Tifany
we're
had
gonna.
a phone.
Yeah, this is part of this document actually that we're reading, so
Okay,
we're actually going to
perfect.
come
Okay,
to it.
sorry.
That's okay. I'm just wondering if you had any other independent information that the women's phones were found. I know they got the burner phones.
I know
So let's.
nothing of the women's phones being found.
Okay, like not even where they found them. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Through the child custody case, recordings were obtained where Rickman discussed death threats by Adams and Adams' boyfriend, Tad Cullum. The custody battle began in February of 2019 with many hearings and court appearances. On March 18th of 2024 and March 20th, 2024, motions were filed requesting extended visitation for Butler, and I went over them on one of my previous streams on this case. She was looking for a step up in custody, and she was looking for unsupervised visitation, which would gradually morph into entire weekend visits that were unsupervised. And I think, and Rock, I'm sure you agree, that that was probably the trigger for this whole
Oh, yeah, and she had a nice
thing.
store. I mean, Veronica was doing good.
Yeah, she had a store.
She had a store. She cooked biscuits and gravy. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like a cafe, too. Like, she had her stuff together. I will say
Yeah.
that.
A hearing was scheduled to occur on April 17th of 2024. Butler's attorney informed OSBI that Butler was likely to receive unsupervised visitation with her children at that hearing. At times, Adam refused to let Rickman have his children, even though Rickman had legal custody of them. Law enforcement previously responded to a call for service where Adams refused to give Rickman his children. Reportedly, the officer told Rickman he believed the children were better off in Adams' care. Rock, do you have any information on who that officer might have been that came to?
You know, the craziest thing down there in that area of the country is that they don't call 911. They text the officers. Like, they have a certain officer they text. I found one from way back when where Tad and Tifany, they would text this officer and he would come and take their statements and stuff. So, no,
Wow.
I don't know who the officer is. The one that used to do it moved to Louisiana, but I'm sure they just have another one that does it.
Right. That's interesting. So this is
Weird.
this must have been somebody with the Cimarron County Sheriff's Office, I would imagine, right? Because
Oh, absolutely.
Keys is in
That's the
Cimarron.
area. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the area.
All right. Rickman's grandmother, Debbie, reported that in mid to late February of 2024, Rickman told her they didn't have to worry about the custody battle much longer because Adams had it under control, that Adams knew the path the judge walked to work, and, quote, "We will take out Veronica at drop-off," end quote. So we've discussed, Rock, that the judge in this custody case was under
24/7 protection. Yes.
24/7 law enforcement protection, right? While after Veronica and Jilian went missing and before the four of them were arrested.
Yeah, and I do believe the grandma, like I talk to her daily. Deborah is a great lady.
Yeah.
And I believe she told the truth. I think Wrangler was threatened by his mom again and basically tried to say grandma made it up. But look, it's showing now grandma didn't make it up. Grandma
No, she
tried
sure
to
didn't.
warn them.
Yep. And this was actually so Debbie is the grandmother that you're talking about. This is Rickman. So this is his dad's mom. Yeah. I
Correct.
redacted her last name and I
Yes.
don't want to dox her.
Correct.
But so
Correct.
you've been talking to her daily and you started talking to her, I guess, when this whole thing was going on and you were down there, right?
Well, I went to Hugoton one day because somebody was bringing me a computer and I was live, and she waited outside and caught me outside.
Wow.
And we've been talking since. And she's a lovely lady.
Oh,
She really is. And she has not got to see the kids yet. And I know you're not asking this, but I want to throw this in. You
please.
know, Rickman was told that he could have no contact with family for 30 days. And
Right.
they finally got to have contact with him on the 22nd. I'm not going to go into detail what's being said,
Hmm.
but it sounds like to me that they're going to work really hard with him if he gets clean. Because I'll be honest with you, and you probably know this, most good people make bad mistakes, okay?
Of
Not people
course.
that murder people, but as far
Right.
as drugs, okay? As far
Sure.
as drugs. A lot of drug counselors used to be into drugs themselves and they're great counselors. So, I think he has a chance of getting the kids back, and I think that's scary, maybe for some people. And all I would say is to all the families is I don't believe Deborah did anything wrong, and I don't think Wrangler did. If you can change my mind, but
Right.
Deborah hasn't even got to see the kids.
Well, in some of the earlier court documents when this custody battle was going on, Veronica used to bring the kids to Deborah's house, or Debbie, as they call her in these paper, all the time,
Yep,
without
she
Wrangler.
babysitted. She babysitted.
Yeah.
She potty trained. Like she watched them all the time, and she was going to court with Veronica, trying to help Veronica. So when I see like different stations or YouTube channels, and they're all in there trying to dog Deborah, like that's not fair, and it's not fair to Wrangler either. But I do find Deborah to be a very lovely woman. I will say that, and a good great grandma.
Incredible. Yeah. And the fact that she still maintained a relationship with Veronica and, wanted to see the children and wanted to continue her relationship with the children, it sounds like something that the kids needed, you
Oh,
know?
for sure, for
Even
sure.
after Veronica and Wrangler broke up, because they broke up in something like December of 2018.
And she was trying to help Veronica get the kids. That's the
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
I'll stand up for her. I told her, call me anytime. I'll go stand by you anywhere. Like
Yeah.
I care about her that much.
If and I've seen pictures, we've seen pictures on Facebook of Wrangler and the kids and Tifany from a few years ago, and he looked amazing. If he can clean himself up, and I don't know why he's in rehab. I don't know why the court ordered rehab, but I can tell you that sometimes they order it just to keep somebody confined for a little bit longer. I don't know what his battle
Mm.
is, and
He,
what
he
his
had
addiction is.
he had a drug problem.
Yeah.
It was safe to say he had a drug problem, and 6 months in a rehab is a long time. And
Yeah.
hopefully, he'll get the resources he needs. I hear that the Salvation Army there in Oklahoma City is actually really good. And like I said, I pray for Wrangler too because them kids need their dad too.
Yeah. But this is like this. So So Debbie is reporting that in mid to late February, that's when Wrangler told her about this, and we're going to see as we go along in this document that they had attempted to kill Veronica another time in February,
So she
and
told the
it
truth.
failed. So the timeline adds up.
Yep, she told the truth.
Yep. So it says Rickman was confined to be in a rehab facility in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the time of the disappearance. The children remain in the custody of Adams. Well, they don't really. Oh, I mean, not now because she's in jail. Rickman denied having that conversation with his grandmother. On April 1st of 2024, OSBI agents obtained a search warrant for Adams' cell phone. OSBI agents performed an extraction on the device. Information gained from the device included web searches for taser pain level, gun shops, prepaid cellular phones, and how to get someone out of their house. Really? You're Googling how to get someone out of their house?
That's crazy.
What an odd Google search that is. On April 3rd of 2024, OSBI interviewed CW, age 16 years. She is the hero in my eyes of this entire case. I think she's what blew this case wide open. And this was within March 30th, they went missing. So this is 3 days post. They interviewed CW. CW is the daughter of Cora Twombly and Kobe W. I didn't put his last name in there. Cora is married now to Cole Twombly. CW stated that she had overheard group conversations related to Butler not protecting her children from her brother, all in reference to an SA allegation. CW advised that she was told by Cora that Adams, Cullum, Cora, Cole, and Paul Grice were involved in the deaths of Butler and Kelley. She stated that Adams provided burner phones to use so they could communicate without using their personal devices. CW also saw 2 burner phones charging on Cora's nightstand in her bedroom. I'm going to break for this for 1 second to say, what kind of mother tells their 16-year-old daughter this kind of stuff? Well, she's saying she first overheard it, but then she's going to say that her mother actually told her.
Well, and I don't want to take kudos for it because I would never do that, but
Yeah.
I do believe that shaking up things, this child was, did you say April 2nd or 3rd? Because I had April 3rd written down.
Yeah,
I could
April
be way off.
3rd. April 3rd is the
So,
day that OSBI
so
interviewed her.
right. So listen, March 30th, and then April 1st, April 7th, April 3rd. That's basically 4 days because they was missing from the morning. By
Right?
that time, I was already stirring up as much dust as I could, and
Right.
I'm sure she overheard that too. And maybe that helped. I don't know, but maybe that helped the 16-year-old go. Wait a minute, somebody's gonna find out, and she did the right thing and told the truth. I
Yeah.
don't know. Because where was she for them 4 days? We don't know.
Right. So, and you went down. What day did you get down there?
I wanted. Didn't you do your live on Monday and I left Tuesday?
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm pretty sure I got there Monday night late and I was there
So you got
Tuesday
there on the
morning
2nd.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
that's quite possible because you
And
had a
I want to
lot of
say,
activity.
it was like, I don't know, 3 days later, I started seeing OSBI. That's when I assumed that they took that girl in custody. And I'd got texts on my phone saying that the 16-year-old babysitter at that time, I didn't know it was Cora's daughter, was in protective custody.
That's right. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. That's the babysitter. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's starting to add up now. CW described Cora, Cole, Adams, Cullum, Paul Grice as being part of an anti-government group that had a religious affiliation. Through OSBI investigation, it was learned that they call their group God's Misfits. Regular meetings are held weekly at Twombly's in the home of Barrett and Lacey. All right, I'm going to break for them for a second. Did you see Ashley Banfield did a show with some other guy from some other God's Misfits? And
Yes, it's crazy. That guy was a guy, he seems like a nice guy. He actually runs an actual church and they don't believe in anything like this. I actually had got wind of him and he went on and did a live while his daughter or while his wife was at a chiropractor and said, I don't have anything to do with these people and I don't know where it came from. And I'm not a big fan of Ashley, so I don't want to say a whole lot,
no,
but
well, she did a whole show about it, and it was a completely different organization. I was thinking, why is she even doing this show? This has nothing to do with the God's Misfits that's involved in this case, but
yeah,
I was so confused.
clicks.
Yeah. CW was told by Cora on March 29th that Cora and Cole would not be home in the morning when she woke and that they were going to be on a mission. When CW woke at approximately 10 a.m., Cora and Cole were not home, but came home around noon. CW knew that Cole and Cora took a blue and gray Chevy pickup owned by them and a blue flatbed pickup owned by Clint Twombly when they left and returned in the same vehicles. So, Rock, is Clint Cole's brother?
Yep, and he's running for sheriff in Cimarron County.
He's running for sheriff?
Yeah, and I had a lady call me and cuss me out on the burner phone and all kinds of stuff. And I said, I don't live there to vote, but it was his truck that they used too.
Yeah.
It was Clint's truck they used. It's all crazy.
And then it says that CW, the daughter, the 16-year-old daughter, was told to clean the interior of the Chevy pickup. So they're having her clean up a murder scene. Or at the very least, evidence of such.
Well, something was going on, but you got to remember too, there was a trailer connected to that truck.
Huh.
So what could possibly be in the front of that truck? I'm just curious. I don't know.
I don't either. But they're having the
Confusing.
daughter clean up their mess.
Right.
CW asked Cora what happened and was told that things did not go as planned, but that they would not have to worry about Veronica Butler again. CW was told that Cora and Cole blocked the road to stop Butler and Kelley and divert them to where Adams, Cullum, and Grice were. Oh, Adams was there on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
CW asked about Kelley and why she had to die and was told by Cora that she wasn't innocent either, as she had supported Butler. CW asked Cora if their bodies were put in a well, and Cora replied something like that. I found that so interesting too. Why would CW ask if they were put in a well? Why would that be the one specific thing that she would ask?
Well, because that's what was going around, and I think that's maybe was the original plan, maybe in February. Because let me tell you what, there's a lot of wells out there and storm cellars that's not covered up that could have possibly they could have been put in and then been covered up. So I could see where the daughter would get that on many, many searches I went on. Big old open wells, big old storm cellars that's in the ground. Like, so I could see where the daughter would get that, honestly.
Well, what I found so interesting about that is that during one of the live streams that I did when the women were still missing and before any arrests were made, there was breaking news that that a body was found in a well, something like 4 hours away from this location, and it turned out to be the body of a missing teenager on, but it was in a well. So I just thought that I found that curious.
These wells are throughout Oklahoma. That was in Tulsa, the one you're talking about.
Right.
But they're just open wells out there in the pasture.
Yeah. But why? It just blows my mind that Cora Twombly, who just conspired to and did kill 2 women, is telling her 16-year-old daughter all of this. I mean,
well, some kids are complicit, okay, and go along with things. And like I said, she could have got wind that listening to them talk, oh, this person's here and stirring up some stuff, and she could have just said, dang, I need to go tell. I need to tell what I know.
Yeah.
Either way, she did the right thing she told.
Oh
I'm
my
proud
gosh,
of
she's
her.
a hero and brave. Hope that she's
Mhm.
still under protection. CW also disclosed, she is under protection? Good.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad she's safe. And I think they had originally said they went to interview her in Texas somewhere. So hopefully she's
Well, Texas is just, it wasn't too far.
right. But I think maybe was she living with her dad? Because her dad is
Yes.
not Cole
Yeah.
Twombly. Okay, good.
Yeah.
CW also disclosed that other attempts to kill Butler occurred during February of 2024 near Hugoton, Kansas, in which Adams, Cullum, and Cora went to Hugoton, but Butler did not leave her residence. This is consistent with the web search discovered on Adams' phone about how to get someone out of their house. Well, I guess that Google search didn't really pan out because it didn't work, whatever she tried. According to Cora, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Also, they said Grice was there too.
Yeah.
But right here, when you just read it, it don't say Grice. But every document I've seen said Grice was at both.
Interesting.
Weird. It's weird.
Adams, Cullum, and Cora went to Hugoton. It doesn't say that Cole did.
Nope. And it don't say that Grice did.
So just the 3 of them did.
In this paperwork, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
According to Cora, the plan was to throw an anvil through Butler's windshield while driving, making it look like an accident because anvils regularly fall off of work vehicles. Rock, tell me, really? Is that something that happens all the time outside of a Looney Tunes cartoon?
Never heard of it. Maybe in the Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, right. Roadrunner would get hit with the anvil, and then the Acme Dynamite would blow up. Outside of a Looney Tunes cartoon, I've never seen an anvil, even in real life, but you're from the area.
Normal. Wouldn't be normal. No, would not be normal.
That's insane. These people were not the smartest criminals I've ever heard of. OSBI investigation showed that Adams searched for gun shops on her cellular phone. A search of local gun shops showed Adams buying 5 stun guns at the Big R store in Guyman, Oklahoma. The purchase was made on March 23rd of 2024. All this obviously clearly shows premeditation because they did not accost or ambush the women until a week later. Did you happen to go to the Big R store in Guyman while you were there?
I probably drove past it, but I had no clue that she had bought phones there. I was all over Guyman, though, I'll tell you that.
Well, that's where she bought the stun guns. She bought the phones apparently at Walmart in Guyman. So let's see. OSBI investigation showed that Adams purchased 3 prepaid cell phones or burner phones from Walmart in Guyman, Oklahoma on February 13th of 2024. And the phones were identified by, and then they say the phone numbers, Search warrants for information related to location services and phone usage were completed for each device. It was learned that all 3 phones were at the area where Butler's car was located and the last known location of Butler and Kelley at the time of their disappearance. All 3 phones were powered on and accessed on the cellular network for the first time at or near Cullum's residence at different times prior to March 30th, 2024. On March 30th, 2024, 2 of these phone numbers before Butler and Kelley's disappearance were at or near Cullum's residence. After Butler and Kelley's disappearance at 10:05 and 10:16, those same 2 different phone numbers actually, so were in the area at or near Cullum's residence. So they're not indicating which phone belonged to who, but let's see, there were 5 of them and only 3 burner phones, it seems.
Yes.
Okay.
So was the other 2 phones just personal phones, or was they Veronica and Jillian's? Because, I mean, you're reading it, so.
Yeah. Let's see when we get there. So we got 3 burner phones that she bought. They give us the phone numbers. 2 of them have 806-390 numbers, and one of them has a 620 number. After Butler and Kelley's disappearance on March 30th, between 10:16 and 10:35, it was determined that phone numbers 620 and 806-390 were at a property owned by this Mr. Beasley below a dam in the pasture where fresh dirt work was located by your affiant. What do we know about this Mr. Beasley? You know anything about Mr. Beasley?
I've talked to many locals. I've had people call me. He's a great guy. His family owned that property. It's passed on down to him. Comes from a very good family. He's very tore up about this. I don't think he had any part in it whatsoever.
But he leased that property to Tad. Is that the story?
Yeah, but Tad leased a lot. He leased a lot of property from a lot of farmers.
Okay. And what was he using the property for?
Cattle. Like on Beasley's, he had cattle.
Okay. Concrete was moved from a location near Beasley's residence, approximately 150 to 200 yards below the dam, where it was discovered that a hole had been dug and filled back in and then covered with hay. The location where Butler and Kelley disappeared from and where Butler's vehicle was located is approximately 8.5 miles away from the location below the dam on Beasley's property, giving drive time between the location of where Butler's vehicle was located to Beasley's property well within the 34 minutes between the time of Butler Kelley's phone stopping, transmission, and prepaid phone numbers 620 and 806 arriving at the dam on Beasley's property. All prepaid phones stopped transmitting on the morning of March 30th, 2024 at locations near Twombly's residence and Beasley's property. Do you know? And so apparently Beasley lived on that property as well. And
he lived awful close. I don't know that he lived on that property. He possibly could have. But I want to tell you about the burner phones because I had to buy one when I was there. Because I had AT&T for 30 years and I switched in November because we had dead spots in Wichita. But, I could pick any phone number. I could have picked a Hawaii phone number.
Really?
Yeah, you can pick any phone number, any area code when you buy one of these phones. I bought mine at Dollar General. And you could have any phone number you want, any area code. So,
wow, that's really interesting. And you know what? I think we're going to, since you mentioned AT&T, we're just going to take a break for a quick second here to hear a word from our sponsor, because having a sponsor is an amazing thing. And actually, since you were an AT&T wireless customer, this is a good thing for you to hear about too, because there was a time about a month or 2 ago that AT&T wireless customers lost service for at least a whole day. And everyone was told later on that people were freaking out. They were like, oh, it's just a software update. Don't worry, no big whoop. Well, it turns out it was a big whoop because there was a huge data breach. And AT&T Wireless, apparently 74 million customers of AT&T Wireless had their information, including their social security numbers, leaked to the dark web. And so if you are one of those people who whether you were a customer presently or before 2019, 74 million of you are affected. You may want to take a listen to a word from our sponsor who can protect you in the event that your information gets out there and your identity gets stolen. Let's take a quick listen.
I wanted to tell you real
quick. Did you know that the odds of falling victim to online crime are 1 in 4? Online crime is soaring. It's time to get smart about online safety. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura provides everything you need to protect your privacy, identity, finances, and your family in one easy-to-use app. Do you even realize how much of your personal information is already out there, being sold by data brokers to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you? Well, if you Google yourself, you may find something like this. And it may shock you to know that your full name, home address, email address, health records, and even relatives, it's all out there. That's one of the reasons you need Aura. Aura shows you which data brokers are selling your information and automatically submits opt-out requests on your behalf. Not only does cleaning up this information reduce the amount of spam that you get, but it will protect you from hackers who could use the information to help them access your social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also helps protect me and my family from online threats by providing antivirus and malware protection, a secure VPN with military-grade encryption, credit monitoring, spam call protection, parental controls, password management, identity theft insurance, and more, without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up. And best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. With the family plan, Aura will help you protect your kids by blocking harmful content, managing how much time they can spend online, and providing you with peace of mind while they game with cyberbullying and online predator threat alerts. I value my privacy and my online safety, and I value yours too. So go to aura.com/Melanie Little to start your 2-week free trial, because you can't put a price on peace of mind. I've also put the link in the video description below. You can thank me later. Okay, the link is below. For anybody who wants a free trial, sign up with my special code. You got to click the link, and for $12 a month is what it starts at. It's really, you can't put a price on peace of mind. Okay, Rock, sorry I interrupted you. What did
No,
you?
I interrupted you, and I'm horribly sorry. I want to tell you that I got a packet, and it's got 28 pages in it for me to fill out from AT&T. And
Wow.
my daughter hasn't had AT&T for 3 years, and she got the same packet. So
Mm-hmm.
even previous customers,
Yep,
you were breached.
that's
So
right.
I'm glad that you're sharing that. I have a VPN. I actually have a different company. I might switch, thanks to you.
Well, not only do you get the VPN, but you get the antivirus and malware protection. And one time I had like hackers get into my desktop and held all my information hostage, and they wanted me to pay $5,000 in Bitcoin. And my IT guy was like, "Yeah, you could pay it. It doesn't mean you're going to get your money back." So for $12 a month, you get all that stuff,
No,
including.
not
So
only that, people think it'll never happen to them.
that's
And
right.
I had Amazon do it to me, and I'm a big Amazon shopper.
Me
So
too.
I'm just saying, it definitely is very important. Like, I'm glad you went over this.
Thank you, because they were my sponsor before that happened, and then once that happened, I thought, wow, like that's crazy, because people don't think it's going to happen to them, and it's 74 million people, some 7 million current customers, and most of the customers were before 2019. So
They could take everything you have.
I know someone who was telling me a story about how her grandfather's house was taken away, the title was taken away, and the
Yep,
people most vulnerable to that are people who don't owe anything on their homes, who have a house that's mortgage free, because it's easier for them to steal. So it's crazy.
I agree, 1000%.
Wow, thank you. All right, back to the document. OSBI learned that Grice, Cullum, and Adams had cell phone conversations amongst each other on March 30th of 2024 in the morning hours, prior to the disappearance of Butler and Kelley. Grice and Cullum were together at Grice's home after the disappearance after 11 a.m. on the same day. OSBI investigation showed that Adams had searched for gun shops on her cell phone. A search of local gun shops showed Adams buying 5 stun guns at the Big R store in Guyman, Oklahoma. Purchase was made on March 23rd, 2024. On April 13th, 2024, a search warrant was executed at Beasley's property, and an excavation of a possible burial site was commenced. On April 14th, the hole was excavated. The bodies of Butler and Kelley were located. But again, like I said earlier, they were not identified as being the bodies of Butler and Kelley until 2 days later on the 16th by the medical examiner. On April 23rd, 2024, Grice was interviewed and admitted that he was part of the planning and killing of both Butler and Kelley. Grice admitted to your affiant that he participated in the killing of Butler and Kelley and their subsequent burial. And that is signed today, still the 24th, right? That is just signed today. And he was arrested today and he apparently confessed. So what do you make of that, Rock?
Well, I have a question. I mean, listen, I don't do things illegal, but I also know my rights.
Mhm.
And if I'm being questioned, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or can will be used against you in the court of law at any point. If you choose to take that right and quit talking, you can get an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. I'm telling you right now, I'm lawyering up,
Of
even
course.
if I did nothing wrong. So I find it really hard to believe that they would confess to this without an attorney. If you look at his paperwork, no attorney. What is going on here, Melanie?
I am sure that he was Mirandized. You just read us our Miranda rights. And maybe he made a deal. Do you think maybe he made a deal in exchange for testifying against the other four to lock up this case that he said, I will, I'll make a deal with me?
Well,
Because maybe the other four weren't going to flip on each other. I don't know.
I mean,
But I'm
uh,
sure they have this on video that if he didn't have a lawyer, I'm sure that he said he understood his rights. I mean, they couldn't afford to screw this up.
which I agree, but I worked at my grandpa's law firm, but I'm not a lawyer. You are.
Right.
You know, a judge don't have to agree to the deal. Not only that, who made the deal? Did the DA make the deal? Like, I still wouldn't be, just for the fact that I would want an attorney to keep track of that. Like, I'm not trying to protect these poor people. What they did is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, you could be an innocent person and get questioned, and I'm an innocent person. If they're questioning me, I'm lawyering up. I'm sorry. You're not
Oh,
getting me caught up in something silly.
and that is my advice to every single one of you is do not speak to law enforcement without a lawyer present.
Never.
People say, oh, well, if you get a lawyer, it makes you look guilty. No, it just makes you look smart.
And I've seen judges not take the deal. Just because the DA makes the deal with somebody, the judge can throw that right out the window.
That's right. And I also
So,
heard, I don't know if you've heard any chatter about where he was arrested, but he was arrested, I think, in a different county. Some people surmise that he may have been trying to flee. And what? I mean, he was named in the arresting documents of the other four, and yet he was only interviewed yesterday and arrested today, which makes me kind of go, that's kind of weird.
he was arrested the other day and they let him go. So for
Huh.
some reason, they thought that they didn't have enough on him. But I will also tell you, this is just information that was given to me, and I'm asking for receipts, pictures.
Yeah.
But I was told they were back digging on Beasley's property today. And since you asked me about the women's cell phone,
Hmm.
I have a feeling they were digging for them.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking too. And I was wondering, did they find them at the burial site? And I guess not. So maybe they're going, and maybe they got some more information from him. I don't understand why, if he was named already as being one of the people involved, according to the 16-year-old witness, daughter of Cora, why it took them so long to find him.
Well, he had been going to work. You know, you hear these stories that he was jumping out of a Super 8 motel. I was told he was at, I know somebody that worked with him, well, they say they did, okay? And he
Hmm.
was at work, so he wasn't running.
Interesting.
And he had been questioned along with the rest of them, but he was let go.
Yeah, it's so odd to me. I don't know if anybody lives nearby that has any information in the chat, but it's very, very strange. I don't know what to make of it. Let's pull up the mugshots of these four horrible individuals.
And she was a pretty lady, Granny. We got to call her
Oh,
Granny because she does not like to be called Granny.
I have side
But
by side. Hold on. That's
she was
next.
a beautiful lady, and what happened?
Here's Tad on the upper left, and he's how old is he? He's only 44, I think.
He's young, but he looks old.
And there's below him, this is Granny, as we're calling her, Tifany Adams with one F. She's, I think, 54. She looks a lot older than that, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Tad is, I don't know where my notes went. Oh, Tad is 43. This guy is 43, upper left. Looks like the Unabomber to me, Ted Kaczynski. This
I
is,
know.
doesn't he?
Yes.
This is, and then Cole Twombly over here, who's got this this smirk on. I don't know if his face just looks like that or if he's really smirking and it's being covered by, but it looks like a smirk to me. He's 50, and then his wife Cora down below here, the mom of the 16-year-old girl that broke this case wide open. She is 44, Cora Twombly. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Clint Twombly, we're going to say that again, is running for sheriff in Cimarron County. And people in the chat seem to be upset that he has nothing to do with it. It's his truck. Like,
Yeah. His truck wasn't involved in this.
we can't change the facts of the case. And I do want to say this because I don't want to get you in trouble, Melanie. Like, I love you to death and I never get you in trouble. But I'm giving you my opinions. That don't necessarily mean that they're your opinions, okay?
Sure.
I don't want to ever get you in trouble.
Yes. Go for it.
Well, no, I've been giving you my opinions. I'm just saying.
Oh, you had more. I thought you had more.
If I say something, that don't mean that me and Melanie agree. Okay. It's my opinion. I would never want somebody to come back and try to sue you for something I said. Okay.
Yeah, these YouTubers are pretty litigious. Let me tell you what.
I'm telling you.
You know who's coming after me now? Not litigation wise, but you know, I could be.
Well,
I could be going. I could be suing somebody for defamation right now.
I would help
It's what
you.
I do for a living, after all.
Well, she's a rock chalk Jayhawk, and she thinks we're friends, and we went to school together in 1982. Sorry, lady. I was still in high school then.
Well, here they were in better days. This is a picture of them from 2018 in the center here. And as you can, she reminds me of Bonnie Raitt. And he is. And look at what a couple of years did to these two. Oh my.
6 years, and she looks like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. Drugs are bad. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. And then I heard something, and this is probably BS too, on another news channel, that he was letting his beard grow because he had some scratches on his face or something. And, his beard is normally a little bit better trimmed. It was only 2 weeks before they were arrested. How much does a beard grow in 2 weeks? I mean,
listen, not only that, it looks like, without trying to be racial, because I'd never be racial, but it looks like he don't wash it either or take care of it or nothing.
Right. It's like he's got maybe birds living in there or something. I mean, look, not to be funny. There's nothing funny about this, but
true.
Sometimes we got to joke. Otherwise, we're going to cry.
That's
and as
right.
always, prayers up to the families of Jilian and Veronica. And I know that you have become close with some of the members, right, of the families.
Oh, yeah, very close. Debbie is one of them. And I talked to Veronica's, both her parents. Her mom came out and did a search one night with us, which I told her, you need to sit back. Listen, these people, somebody left a message on Heath Kelly's Facebook, if you can believe it. It said, how about you at least come online and thank the people that searched for your wife? Are you kidding me? Most of the time, we don't want the family helping us search anyway, because we don't know what we're going to find. And I just find that YouTube can be really cruel. And all I can say is do better, be better.
Yes. How about that? Be kind. It's really not hard. Let's take a look at Brian interviewed a man who says he knows Paul Grice. And this interview was done back on April 19th. And News Nation was all over, like, why haven't they arrested this guy? Why haven't they arrested this guy?
Wait a minute. Did he know Paul Grice or Tad Coleman?
Paul Grice.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen it. Thank you.
Oh, okay, cool. This was on his Twitter. So let's take a look at that.
Did you know Paul Grice? Yeah, I know of him. And he has a young family, very nice guy. He's the kind of guy to come up, shake your hand, tell you hi. And anytime I've been around
him, Jamie Beasley.
Wait, that's Jamie Beasley?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is the man whose property, the bodies were found that Tad Cullum was leasing.
Right.
Wow.
And working hard and taking care of cattle. And he seems to be a good guy. My understanding is that he was taken in question, and apparently the OSBI and FBI didn't think it warranted arresting him. So
he posted this on the 19th. So he was interviewed. Apparently, Paul Grice was interviewed before the 19th. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, if somebody in the chat knows that correct me if I'm wrong, but I know this guy as being Jamie Beasley.
All right. Any locals in the chat? Can we confirm that this is Jamie Beasley? I'll watch for that. I wonder
it
if he
wouldn't be the
worked.
first time I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's Jamie Beasley. I could be wrong.
Oh, Beverly says no, that's Jared Stewart, not Jamie.
Okay, well.
Did you meet
then
Jamie when you were there?
I did not meet Jamie. And
Hmm.
she's probably right, but all along I thought this was Jamie Beasley.
Interesting. Mark said the judge was fired for being Tad's friend. That's interesting because there's an interview. Did you see the interview with the judge?
Oh,
who
I
got
got a lot
on?
to say about that judge. He said he was a Vietnam vet too, and he didn't graduate school till like what'd they say, 1977.
Oh, really?
If that's true, how was he a Vietnam vet? Like, we need to investigate that. That's just wrong.
Yeah, I thought that was a really wacky interview. I couldn't believe that he would come on the air. And
He said he had his attorney with him too. What did he have his attorney in the back seat? And if you go back and watch Brian Hinton, he said I was just driving down the street and saw this guy and interviewed him. So there was no attorney there. And he had a list of what he was going to say on camera, and they didn't put it on the air. So he had his friend post it on Facebook. I'll see if I can't get that to you. It's crazy.
wow, that is crazy. Casey's Corner says, I haven't heard anything that points to Wrangler knowing whoever it was that chatted that. Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. Have you? In fact, I heard that he was threatened by his mother several times that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill everybody.
Honestly, I don't think Wrangler knew this was going to happen. I really don't. I think he knew in February they were planning it. I do believe he told his grandma that. I don't find any of that to be a lie.
Mhm.
And I think his mom threatened him and he backtracked. But I do believe that Deborah told the truth.
Well, he's probably afraid of her too. And that's why he backtracked. But I believe Debbie told the truth too.
I guess he's not in custody, so I have no reason to believe that he had anything to do with it.
Yeah, a lot of people are questioning it just because he's named in the reports and wondering why he's the one who wasn't arrested.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you. I know he's a good man from what I know of him.
Do you know Paul Grice?
Yeah, I know of him.
That's just kind of on a loop there, but I thought that was interesting, and I kind of wonder. So he said he worked with cattle. I wonder if if that's what he did with Tad. Yeah, or didn't you say that Cole leased part of Tad's property and he had cattle there as well?
The only thing that I knew that Cole and Cora, is they used to show cattle, okay? And then that got too expensive and they bought, I believe it was 8 or 9 hogs, I can't remember. But it was from a very reliable source that went to school with them, and they couldn't even keep their own electricity on.
Yeah. So maybe she was paying them to do this and they could have done anything for money. Rebecca says, if Wrangler knew it was going to happen in February, how can you say he didn't know? So confused by the stance on this. I mean, maybe she made those threats and he told his grandmother that, but maybe he never thought that she would follow through on it.
I wouldn't have thought that somebody would follow through on it, but listen, I'm a grandma and I'm a mom, and you think I haven't threatened like my girls as boyfriends? Like,
Yeah,
I haven't threatened to kill them, but you put your hands on my granddaughter, and me and you are going to have problems. So people make threats all the time, but you don't think they'll follow through with it. This is horrible.
yeah, absolutely horrifying. And wasn't she tight also with law enforcement? So who was he gonna? I mean, we haven't talked about that person yet, and we'll see what happens with that person. But
I'm knee deep in that, and
too.
I'm not stopping on that.
Yeah, let's we'll save that for another time, maybe.
I get it.
It's all optics. Says, wasn't Wrangler also in jail on domestic violence charges against his wife who's divorced him? I don't think they're divorced yet, but he did get married. He and Veronica were never married. He married this other woman, and I won't name her, back in, I think, July of 2023. He was arrested, and you can tell the story, Rock, for gun possession as a prior felon. Felons are not allowed to even touch guns. So you can tell the story of how that arrest came to be, Rock,
Right.
if you'd like.
Yeah, the story I've heard is that his mom was having him clean the gun, which is weird. Why would you clean the gun and then shoot the gun? And the minute he shot the gun, she called that particular person you don't want to talk about. I got the paperwork. He was the arresting agent.
Yep. I thought she
So
took a picture of him with the gun.
she did. And then she called that KM to come arrest him. That
So
was the
she,
arresting officer.
yeah. So I think she was trying to get him out of the way so that she could get custody of the children. I mean, this was a whole big plan. This was like in November, I think, of 2023, if I recall. And then what happened was in February of 2024, he was, well, for that, gun possession by a felon charge, he was kind of let out, and he violated his probation in February 2024 when he was brought up on charges when his spouse alleged a DV charge against him. And I think she was pregnant. It was DV against a pregnant woman and also against his mother-in-law. And so that's why he was in jail for 30 days beginning in February. And then when he was released after the 30 days, that's when he was sent to court-ordered rehab.
Yeah, and he did go straight from his dad. Wrangler's dad had to sign a paper, and the judge only gave him a certain amount of time to get to Oklahoma City. And they actually got there and had an hour and a half to spare. And I believe they had lunch, but otherwise the dad was going to jail too. So I know for a fact that he went straight from the jail to that rehab, and his dad took him.
A lot of people are saying it sounds like a setup. And I mean, that's what it sounds like. Listen, steel strings. So his mom set him up. Geez, that woman is terrifying.
Or was she trying to get Wrangler out of there because he was going to stop it?
That could be too.
Because I do believe that Wrangler was trying to help Veronica to at least get shared custody. And the only way to stop him, listen, they have grandparents' rights in Oklahoma, but the way I understand it, it's just say, I get in a fight with my daughter and she says, oh, you're not going to see your grandbaby, which happens. Believe me, it happens. Happens to me. And that's to stop that. If you have a good relationship with your grandchildren, there is grandparents' rights in Oklahoma that the judge will allow you, like visitation, to keep that, that healthy relationship going.
Right.
So, but as a parent, he had a lot of say in what happened with the kids. I think she wanted him locked up so that he had no say in what happened with these kids. That's my own opinion. My own opinion.
Well, Beautiful Messy Ball said, why did Granny want the kids so bad?
She didn't like Veronica and she didn't want them to have them. But, listen, I love my kids and that love. I never thought that I'd love anything more. But when you have grandkids, it's a whole different love. Like, seriously, it's a stronger love even. Just when you think you don't love something more, like your parents, then you have kids and you even have a different love for your kids. But then when you have grandkids, that love is so strong.
Yeah, but this is a crazy ass situation. I mean,
Yeah, it's psycho.
killing,
Like, I wouldn't do anything psycho like this. No.
and to have these other people involved in it with you, like what was in it for them? She must have been paying them a lot of money. That's the only thing I could think of. Justice Shorty, Searching for Truth, says they may have let Grice go to see if he would lead investigators to more evidence. As far as confessions, that has everything to do with sovereign citizens. Something is going to happen with the confessions. That's interesting. Did Tifany confess as well? What's the word on
Yeah,
that?
they said she did. And she's a smart lady. She would know to have an attorney present. And according to the paperwork, she confessed without an attorney.
Huh. That's crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Donna Nealon, for your super chat. She says, love your info and insight. True California girl says, thank you for your super chat coffee for our girl Melanie. Liz G, thanks for becoming a member. And everyone go subscribe to Rock Chalk after this. If you just click on her name in the description of this video, it'll send you to her channel. Are you going live again tonight, Rock?
I doubt it. I was on the phone all day. Like I said, did you see? I sent it to you and you might not go over it yet. Who Tad Coleman hired for an attorney?
I did not have a chance to look at that yet.
Oh my gosh.
So let me just thank Pierre for the super chat. She says CW is very brave, and who makes a teenager clean a crime scene? WTF? Yeah, agreed. WTF? Yeah, tell me. So apparently Tifany is the only one who's asked for a public defender, right? And the other 3 of the 4.
Cora's asked for a public defender.
Oh, Cora has asked for a public defender, and Tifany.
I heard that she hired the guy that represented Timothy McVeigh, but I've not seen it on paperwork. But I noticed today that Coleman hired this high-priced attorney out of Oklahoma City.
Well, we have a lot more to talk about. We'll have to get into that as well
Another
on
night,
the next
maybe.
show.
Yeah.
What's that?
Maybe another night. I know you're deep into that other thing. And
Yep.
listen, I know my viewers are here and they love you too. And I really appreciate you going over the paperwork because I can go over it here and there, but I'd rather your professional opinion. Like, seriously, I love you to death.
Oh, I love you to death too. And you're so brave. And somebody said they want to be you when they grow up. And
Oh.
I wonder if you have any questions, any legal questions for me while you have me here.
Well, I asked you the other day, but I just don't understand how I'm not going to say the name, how a law enforcement officer can get a grand jury indictment and he's over a task force and the money's missing. Then he puts up a fake burglary and they find that out. He gets a year's probation, has to pay back the money, and then he has to give up his police certification. And then he can't do law enforcement for 3 years, which he didn't do for 5 years. And now he's the head DA, drug task force agent. I can't figure it out to save my soul.
No, and
Like,
he's on
what
the
kind of
witness
background?
list. He's on the witness list.
Yeah. So then my other question is, Brady Giglio, how does that come into play?
Well, we're going to have to see. I mean, we haven't gotten there yet, but I
Well,
have a lot of questions.
Yeah, there's paperwork I sent you, and I know it'll be another time. But
Yeah.
number 7 from Cora's public defender, she wants to know everything about every officer and their background. So
Yep.
that scares me.
I have that. So we can pull that up real quick while we're here, since we have so many people watching that want to learn more about this case. Let's pull that up. And I think it was her motion for discovery.
Number 7 on that is what I really had a question with you about. I find that to be maybe Brady Giglio. So, and I might be saying that wrong. Sorry.
No, I think you're saying it right. Although I knew someone in high school who had that name, but she pronounced it Giglio, but I think it is Giglio. Let's see where Cora's info is.
And it was filed, I think, yesterday or the day before.
This is her motion for discovery. Yeah, that was filed the 22nd. Today's still the 24th, as far as I know.
It's got like 11 questions. Number 7 was my most interesting one.
All right, let's see here.
But I know you've been busting your butt on the other case, so I appreciate you taking time out to go over these documents.
I feel like I haven't. It was time. I had to look over this case, and then when this broke today, it was I had to come on. So I'm glad that everyone is here for it, because I'm here for it as well. And I'll be following this case all the way through with you. So this is the motion for discovery filed by Cora's attorney, as we said 2 days ago, Vonda Wilkins. She is an attorney for the defendant. She's part of the Oklahoma Indigent Defense System. And here's what she's asking for in discovery from the state of Oklahoma. The names and addresses of all witnesses, which the state intends to call at trial, together with their relevant written or recorded statement, if any, if none, significant summaries of any oral statement, law enforcement reports made in regard to the case, including written notes, any written or recorded statement, and the substance of any oral statements made by the accused or made by a co-defendant. Because you see, in Oklahoma, they actually record statements, unlike Massachusetts. In the case that I'm covering, none of the witness statements were recorded. Number 4, any reports or statements made by experts in connection with the particular case, including results of physical or mental examinations and of scientific tests, experiments, or comparisons. 5, any books, papers, documents, photographs, tangible objects, buildings, or places which the prosecuting attorney intends to use in the hearing or trial, or which were obtained from or belong to the accused. 6, any record of prior criminal convictions of the defendant or of any co-defendant. 7, Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation rap sheets records check on any witness listed by either party as a witness at trial, as well as any convictions of any witness revealed through additional record checks if the defense has furnished social security numbers or date of birth for their witnesses, except OSBI rap and record checks shall not provide date of birth, social, home phone number, or address. That's interesting. 8, any evidence favorable to the defendant if such evidence is material to either guilt or punishment. So there's your exculpatory evidence. I guess, was it a different piece of paper? You said number 23. Hold on.
I said 7.
You sent 7. I didn't get 7. Hold on. 7 documents you sent?
No, number 7.
Oh, number
And
7. I thought you said
I'm
it was
not
number
an
23.
attorney, but
Oh.
number 7 when it brings up OSBI
The
and
rap
all the,
sheets and the records checks on any witness listed by either party. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They want rap sheets on any witness,
including law enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
it's
only witness list we got right now is the one I sent you, which is the state's witness list, and it's
Yep.
all LE. Every bit of it is LE.
Yep. So let's go back to, because that is part of the document that we were looking at before. We just did not go to that page. Let me see if I can find it. Pull it back up. This is...
While you're looking at it, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm seeing where somebody's saying in the comment, wouldn't you have to have an attorney that's death penalty? Well, they haven't taken the death penalty. They haven't brought the death penalty up. So why would they get a death penalty attorney yet? Have you seen anywhere where the death penalty's been brought up? I mean, we know it's a
in the
death penalty
charges.
state. Yeah. So really, so they're saying they should be awarded a death penalty attorney. That's not true yet because I don't see that charge. Am I right?
Well, it's a possibility because in the charges it says that the possibility is death as a punishment. So it's there, and they should be entitled to a death penalty if they're charged with a death penalty offense. Just because the state has not chosen whether or not to take it off the table, you have to have a specially trained attorney for a death penalty case. And we're seeing that, in Coburger, because there are so few attorneys in the state of Idaho that are death penalty certified. And that's why Ann Taylor is doing that. So yes, I believe that when you're charged with a crime that could involve the death penalty, you are definitely entitled to a death penalty attorney.
But we're not at that point, right?
We're not at that point yet, but they're charged with murder and they've been indicted for murder, for first degree murder in Oklahoma. And part of, if you would look right here, it says this crime is punishable by death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for life without parole. So the death penalty is always an option in these cases, and they oftentimes don't decide whether or not they're going to pursue it until they're well into the case, before the trial, of course, but you have to have your attorney sort of from day one. So because the death penalty is a possibility, they're entitled to a death penalty certified attorney. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You got 4 there. Is there that many available for that? Oklahoma's getting hit hard.
Yeah.
With a lot of these things. Who's available right now? Maybe they're waiting to see who flips, who makes deals, and then they're going to reassign. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good, interesting question. Here's the witnesses endorsed for the state of Oklahoma, as you were saying, and many of them are law enforcement. We have them number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 from the OSBI. And then 2 from the KBI, and then a whole bunch from Texas County Sheriff's Office. 2 from Guyman Police Department, Kevin McIntyre from the Department of ATF.
No, that's the District Attorney Task Force.
District Attorney Task Force. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So wasn't he also the sheriff at one time?
He's also the one that got charged with a grand jury indictment.
And wasn't he also accompanying Tifany Adams to her custody hearings?
Actually, I have to correct that because I misunderstood the grandma. When
Okay.
when Tifany Adams was going through a divorce with Wrangler's dad, I believe that they were dating, is what she told me, Tiffany and Kevin, and he would show up to their divorce hearing. So I want to make sure I get that.
Okay.
I'm
So
glad
they
you
were
brought that up.
possibly dating years ago
Years
when
ago.
she was going through the divorce
hmm
before she was with Tad. But in any event, he's been local law enforcement for a very long time.
They're on many boards together. They're on the GOP board. They're on the health board. Like, they're on a lot of, for sovereign citizens, they're on a lot of boards together.
And she's so she's tight with law enforcement in that county. And like we said, it's a small county, it's Cimarron County. I mean, this is going to happen in Texas County because that's where the ladies were tragically killed, but they're neighboring counties.
She might know people in Texas County too, because she was at the Walmart there. I mean, everywhere. Usually, when she shopped shopped at the Dollar General store in Boise, and that's where I bought. I'll call it a burner phone because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she just go there to buy the burner phone? Why did she go all the way to Guyman?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think she's well connected in all that area.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's as we said, it's not highly populated. So let's see. Oblivious Benson says that there's some new information on the website about who Tiffany's attorney is. So let me see if I can just pull that up. You can go through some more of those witnesses if you like. So we have let's see.
Yeah, because you'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understood it, it was Timothy McVeigh's attorney, and he's really old. But they could have changed it by now.
Let's see. Texas County.
I will tell you, Oblivious Benson, she's a hoot, and she's very smart.
I know. She's my own personal Penelope Garcia for all the Criminal Minds fans out there.
I love her.
She, I mean, she just in her spare time helps people find their missing people, family members, as just the generosity that she exhibits, helping all of these families with missing people in their family, just as for free, like out of the kindness of her heart.
And she has a lot of degrees. She's very, very smart.
Incredible. She's incredible. Let's see. I can't access the documents because they sealed them all, but
I don't think they're sealed anymore, are they?
I mean, I can pull it. I mean, I can pull up the docket, but I can't click on it like I used to be able to see the actual document. I've got.
Maybe Oblivious Benson. Can she send it to you real quick?
Yeah, maybe LB, if you're there, maybe you could text it to me or email it to me, because when I pull up the court docket, you said
or put the attorney's name in the chat, because it's not going to matter.
Yeah, why don't you can put it right in the chat.
I mean, sure, show. I'm just giving ideas. Sorry.
Yeah, she's texting me, but yeah.
Somebody asked me, what is that picture on my thing? Listen, I'm new at this, okay? I never intended to have a YouTube channel. It was my Kansas University Jayhawks. So when me and Melanie went live, I couldn't get my icon on there. So I got my iPad there, giving you some kind of picture. So that's what's going on there.
I know you don't like to come on camera.
Operator error. I know it's me. Operator error.
No, it's great. It's great because I'd rather have something there than just your voice with nothing. So it's perfect. All right, and then we've got Melissa and Joey who found the car. I don't know who. And then we have two from the Hugoton PD. Then we have some Patrick Vasquez, Kenya Gonzalez, Eloy Torres, Jamie Beasley, who owned the property. I don't know who any of those other folks are. CW, who's the 16-year-old teenage daughter, and then there's Debbie, the grandma, and then there's Hunton White. Cheryl is the one, the court-ordered supervisor, the main one.
The one that Tiffany told to take a break.
Right. And Garrett Oates, I believe, was Veronica's attorney in the custody battle. I
Yes.
think. I know he's an attorney.
Yes, he was her attorney, and I think he still was trying to help.
Yeah, I think so. He was talking to, I think he gave the court some information, if I recall. He was mentioned on the news a couple of times.
And I don't like talking about the kids, but I did hear something if you're interested in hearing.
Please, we want to know that the kids are okay and that they're doing well.
Well, the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, is that they're not with any family. They are actually being taken care of through, we call it DCF here.
Right.
So, the way I understand it, they're going to be with DCF until Wrangler gets done with his stuff. So we'll see.
So
That's
you
how
think
I
they're
hear
going to
it.
be in state custody? I thought that Veronica's dad had them for a bit.
Nope,
It's too
never
bad.
released. They said it was a 72-hour thing, and I love Veronica's dad. Like, I got big heart for him, but somebody had said that he wasn't in the position to take them because he's a truck driver. I don't know
Oh.
if that's true or not.
Well, if that's true, that means he's away from home a lot, so he's not there to take care of
Right.
them.
And Wrangler's grandma wanted them, and the way I see it right now is, from what I'm hearing, they're not going to any family right now.
I always feel like kids are so much better off with family than they
Me
are
too.
in the system. That breaks my heart.
Me too, but I also feel like that, I realize these people lost Veronica and Jillian, and this is horrible. But also, I think they need to take a step back, like I said, and do better, because
Yeah.
I do believe that Veronica actually loved Debbie too. And ever since Debbie, said that she might be interested in the kids, only because she didn't know who was going to do it, um, it's kind of like she's not been talked to, is the way I understand. But I'll talk to her all day long. I'll go to the memorials with her. Like, I find her to be a stand-up person. I love her. I
Have the
do love her.
memorials been held yet?
They are going to be held. Veronica's. Okay, so Julian's is going to be the 30th, and
Okay.
Veronica's is going to be on that Friday. Let me grab my thing here because I got it written down.
And are they,
So
go ahead.
so yeah, Jillian's is going to be held. I'm losing track of my days. I tell you, woman. So Jillian's is going to be held on. That
I
don't
saw you
sound right.
posted, you made some beautiful floral arrangements, and so I wasn't sure if they had happened yet or not because I've been
They
so
have
involved
not
in the care and
happened yet,
rescue.
and they just released it today that Veronica's is going to be open, and I can get you who they're through. And for people across the world that's invested in this case,
Mm-hmm.
there's also going to be a live of the memorial. It's actually Celebration of Life.
Oh, they're
But
gonna live stream it?
yeah, yeah. So
That's
April 30th, I believe, is when Veronica's is, or Jillian's. And then on that Friday on May 3rd, is gonna be when Veronica's is. But it
okay.
is gonna be streamed. So for your people that's overseas, Australia, or anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
it will be streamed. And it's through Bronson uh, in Hugoton. And you can look it up. I don't understand what the book signing thing is. They're having 2 days of book signing, but I'll figure it out. But absolutely, the celebration of lives are going to happen. It was told that Veronica's family, which Veronica's May 3rd, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that the 30th is going to be Jillian's. But anyway, Veronica's family, at first, I had heard they were going to do it just family only, which, listen, I get it. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't hurt my heart. I've also said all along, I will be at both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no problem being at both, but I will not approach the family unless they approach me. I'm going to give them their space.
Yeah. So
So,
heartbreaking. As always, prayers up for the family of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelley, who were senselessly taken way too soon. Mom of 2 and mom of 4. Before we wrap here, Rock, do you have any closing thoughts?
I just hope that people find it in their hearts to give Wrangler a chance. Like, he's made his mistakes. He's still young. I think he's 26.
Yeah.
And I think that I know when you have deaths, it divides families. Like, I get it. But please just always take the kids in consideration and what's healthy for the kids. And if if Veronica trusted Debbie with the children, whoever does get custody, whether it be Wrangler or an aunt or whoever, I would hope that you would still include the grandma of Wrangler, because obviously Veronica trusted her.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. Hollis says Jillian's kids are all in therapy. Yeah, her kids are older as well, right? A little bit older. I think that Veronica's kids were 6 and 8.
And one statement that came out from I don't know if it was Heather's husband, Jillian's husband Heath, or the other pastor, is they actually said in church that they wanted everybody to forgive these people. That would be hard to say.
Well, yeah, some people are way better than I am, because I don't think that I could get there.
I couldn't either, but yeah, kudos to them. They're way
Yeah.
better than me too.
Kudos to them. I will be following this case closely with you, my friends, as always. And thank you so much to my moderators for keeping the chat classy and for being so amazing and for being with me every step of the way. Rockshock, thank you so much for coming to visit us tonight. Your insights are always so welcome and so incredible. And to everyone, if you would just hit the like button, it would really help the channel and push this stream out. And also the subscribe button, it's free. Hit the bell so you'll get the notifications. And to my viewers and replay viewers, I thank you so much. And just remember, my friends, as I say to you all the time, be cool, be kind, be classy. It is not hard. Really, it is so not hard. I know you guys can do it. Peace out. I'll see you soon.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.